My name is Ya'khud العمودي. I'm an artist based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. My work looks at the social politics of the spaces that I'm in, whether the communities or the cities that I've lived in. I look at change, I look at development, and my background is in visual communication, printmaking, and I'm currently pursuing a PhD in fine arts and humanities. Moving mountains to me is about navigating landscapes in flux, what it means, or your power as an individual and your power as a collective in bringing about change. And it's also about understanding the landscapes and the context within which we're living in, and our relationship to the spaces and the conversations that we're having to the space that we're existing, growing up in, whether that's the communities that we're growing up in or the actual landscape that is kind of shifting as we're trying to navigate it. There isn't a specific material that I work in, but I mostly work within moving image. I see myself as a stager, placing things within a context and creating a narrative around them. So I would say my main source of material would be like humor as a method, or collaboration or storytelling. I also work a lot with performers, whether that's traditional dance performers or actual actors. So the mediums are mixing and shifting depending on what the artwork is. I don't think there's a specific moment in time or a specific thing that has impacted, like one thing that has impacted my practice as a whole. There's been a culmination of a lot of different things that's made me where I am today. And I think a huge part of that is the support that I've had from my family and the support that I've had from the arts community. They believed in the work that I was making, the questions that I was asking, and the conversations that I was trying to make with the work themselves. I think the thing that I enjoy the most about making art is collaborating with practitioners from different fields. Learning and sharing knowledge is a huge aspect of the work that I make. And I think this is what made me fall in love with art in general, fall in love with image making and the tool and powers that kind of exist within those mediums and this type of platform. The most difficult piece that I would say exists within the show is Nakhla, only because it's the only piece that me and Rotana have decided not to put a description on. I think if you look at all the other pieces in conversation with one another, you can build or bring a dialogue around the piece of Nakhla itself. And just to give a clue, the date really affects the work and the time frame within which I was creating the work, and also adds to the story and the narrative that I was trying to have, and the conversations that I was trying to have at that time. One thing that I wish people would take away from the exhibition is our relationship with the land that we are kind of growing up in and existing and trying to navigate. I think now more than ever, this notion of land, this notion of space, authority, and power is an important conversation to have, and we're witnessing this both globally and locally. And it's just about highlighting what our roles are and how, these struggles exist, and creating conversations around these struggles of how do we begin to move around or exist in or claim ownership of the land that is around us and make it who we are and make it what we want it to be. One thing that I think is really important to highlight about this exhibition is the fact that when you enter the space, you become part of the landscape, and you are in a way a form of performing in this space. I think this is something that I really wanted to highlight with the performances that happen within Moving Mountain. And this is a dialogue that I wanted the viewer to kind of have when coming in. Are you a part of this landscape? How are you affecting this landscape? What are you choosing to carry with you? And what are you choosing to let go of?
So I'm Rotana Shaker. I'm the curator of Moving Mountains, Ya'khud Alamoudi's solo exhibition here at Hayy Jameel. So Moving Mountains, the exhibition as well as the commission really draws from multiple aspects of Ya'khud's practice, from, as I mentioned, moving image to video and performance, as well as working with community in various aspects. She really imbues her work with humor, as well as playing with her background in kind of printmaking to bring together digital images to life. What's really kind of pertinent about Ahad's work is she's employing various kinds of approaches to explore the way in which we relate to kind of shifting landscapes and societal landscapes as well. So a lot of the work that you'll see here is situated in the Saudi landscape, and in particular in Jeddah, which is her hometown, and which has been very much the kind of locus of her practice, even as she negotiates herself across London and here. So this exhibition and this moment in particular is quite important because she relates to her audiences and her work through a number of different registers. What's so important is aspects of humor. What's so important is aspects of dealing with dissemination, how she brings in kind of images from the internet, how she places herself as an agent and performer within the landscape, as well as how she collaborates with community. And especially in this time, bringing performance alive within this space has been quite a unique aspect of her work, and one that's growing further. So we really see this exhibition as both telling a story a little bit about how these themes have been explored in her work thus far, and also kind of creating a platform for her to explore the more performative aspects of her work, to bring them together, both the digital, the physical, and the performative in one space. What might be a bit different about this exhibition to people who are used to Ahad's practice is it might seem a little bit subdued. A lot of the works that we chose are set in the natural landscape, or feature kind of these natural hues. What makes this exhibition a little bit different than what people might have seen previously from Ahad's is we've brought together works over the last 8 years that are perhaps seemingly subdued, but what draws them all together is this approach in her practice to explore and navigate through various performative acts, through moving image, and through these kind of morphing symbols and icons, a landscape that is in constant flux. And as she herself, through her practice, maneuvers these questions, we see that evolve throughout the work. And these kinds of symbols act as perhaps unstable guideposts within a landscape that is morphing continuously. But their kind of humor and approach to landscape is still the through line of most of the work.